It's a biodegradable loofah. Number 5, rot. Choose a product that returns to nature.
Refuse, reduce,
Reuse, recycle,
and rot. The 5R pledge to protect our planet.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어 방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM Busan 영어 방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산 영어 방송 to your Kakao friends list.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Good morning, waivers. There was breaking news yesterday regarding this initial agreement between the United States and Iran to extend this fragile ceasefire, moving forward and toward a formal signing. So the agreement was signed electronically on Sunday local time, they say. At the core of the pact is this, though, the long-awaited reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, whose blockage has really impacted a significant supply of the world's oil and natural gas, of course, affecting South Korea as well. And it won't be fully reopened immediately, and we're going to have to be patient to alleviate this global energy crisis caused by the closure. Another big question is this: what about Israel and Lebanon, or more specifically, Israel and Hezbollah? Let's dive into all of this plus much more. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, June 16th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers, and welcome to our program on this Tuesday morning. For those of you who didn't check us out yesterday, you might be surprised because the surroundings look a little different. Yes, we're in our brand new studio once again on the second floor of BEFM, this building here. And I hope that you are ready to enjoy our Tuesday morning together. So we're going to dive into our text topic, and it is very not serious. Okay, here we go. Long versus short. Straight versus curly. What kind of hairstyle do you prefer? That is a question today. So 긴 머리, 짧은 머리, 생머리, 파마머리 등 내가 선호하는 헤어스타일은 뭘까요? And if you could also give us the reason, the why to me is so important because it tells me why you prefer long hair versus short hair versus any type of hair, whether it's wavy. Well, let me know all the details of your preferred hairstyle. You can send them into BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM 부산 영어 방송 to find our channel. Subscribe, log in, chat with other waivers from your phone pound 9050 shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. Also, you can reach me for free on Kakao Talk as well. So find us first, BEFM 부산 영어 방송, and once you find us, our account, add us as a friend first, and then you can send in your messages, photos as well. And the ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan. On the radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. Once again, that's if you're in Busan. If not, check us out on YouTube. We're streaming live right now. Also available on the Popbang app, but also our own BEFM app as well. So here's a lineup for you today. It's Tuesday. We have Jian for Now in Busan. That's our local news segment. We have Haley in hour number 1 for top stories. In hour number 2, Wagga Wagga Tea Time. And it's Tuesday. We have Andrew coming in for Wave Sports. And for Trend Whisper today, we have Ade filling in for Haeun. And for a special interview, education is so important here in Korea. For anybody around the world, but especially in Korea, we know it is a fervor. Well, we're going to talk about this growing multicultural generation in Korean schools. Yes, that population, that demographic is definitely growing. So we're going to find out about that with our expert who's coming into the studio today. That's coming up in hour number 2. And before we dive into some local news, I want to let you know about this Youth-Friendly City on-air program. It's a recruitment opportunity for youth radio production teams. How exciting is this? So individuals or teams will get professional broadcasting training and coaching, and you'll be able to introduce your own content with BEFM, along with the necessary funding and appearance fees. So applications are open until June 21st. Via email or in person at the Busan Jingu District Office Job, Industry, and Youth Division. So go check that out. And now we're going to turn to Jian for local news for Now in Busan. Good morning, Jian.
Good morning.
Well, today it's an interesting text topic. It's about hairstyles.
Yes.
So do you have a preference? What's your favorite?
I think I look better with my longer hair. And I've done short hair while during the military service, I think. I don't want to go back.
Oh, how short was it?
I was shorter than the normal guys because we were in a training for 3 months and we had to keep it very short so it doesn't go any beyond the head.
I see. So, ooh.
It was way shorter.
Okay, so one of these days, if you're comfortable, or maybe not, I don't want to force you to show photos, but I would love to see a photo, maybe in private.
Yes, maybe a little later.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to dive into some local news. Busan's mayor-elect is facing some difficult decisions even before taking office. So what are some of the issues?
So one of the biggest questions is what to do about 2 controversial projects, the Hwangryongsan Mountain Cable Car and the Daegu Bridge. Both projects moved forward under the previous administration, but they've also faced strong opposition from environmental groups.
Well, let's find out why these projects are so controversial.
Well, environmental groups say the projects raise both environmental and legal concerns. A key research paper supporting the Daegu Bridge project was later withdrawn, and they're now questioning the environmental review. They've also raised concerns after an endangered dragonfly species was found at the construction site.
Well, what about the cable car project?
That one. The project has also faced legal challenges. The Supreme Court ruled that part of the land acquisition process involving a temple was unlawful. But Busan City says the project followed proper legal procedures.
Well, where does the mayor-elect stand on these issues?
During the campaign, Mayor-elect Jeon Jae-soo said projects that don't fully reflect environmental review results should should be reconsidered. He also said the cable car project deserves a fresh review. However, environmental groups are now concerned because his transition committee doesn't include any environmental experts. The committee says environmental issues will still be reviewed as it receives briefings and examines the city's major projects.
I see. Thanks for letting us know about those top issues. Let's move on to our next story. There's been a new court decision related to the so-called Busan spin kick attack case. So let us know the details.
The court ruled that the man convicted in the Busan spin kick attack case can use up to 100,000 won of his prison account each month while serving his sentence. The victim won a 100 million won civil lawsuit against him and had been trying to recover the compensation by freezing the money in his prison account.
Yes.
But the court decided he should still be allowed to use a limited amount each month for things like medical expenses and items from the prison store.
Well, how did the victim respond to this?
The victim strongly criticized the decision and said she will appeal. She pointed out that the offender has never voluntarily paid compensation and that she's recovered less than 1% of the court-awarded damages so far.
Well, why is this ruling getting so much attention?
The victim says she's worried the decision could make it harder for crime victims to collect compensation in similar cases. She also fears other offenders could use the same legal process to protect money that might otherwise go toward paying damages.
I see. Of course, this was the infamous case. So thanks for giving us details on the updates. Moving on, Busan is expanding its banner-free streets program. What's changing here?
Yes, Busan City has added 13 more banner-free clean streets, including Yangjong intersection, Suyang intersection, and Imlang Beach. That brings the total number of designated banner-free streets across the city to 31.
And what's the purpose of this program?
The city is trying to reduce visual clutter and create cleaner, more organized streets. The city wants public spaces to look tidier and more pleasant for both residents and visitors.
What exactly happens in these designated areas?
So both commercial and government banners are restricted in those zones. If illegal banners are put up, they'll be removed immediately.
So it's really about maybe improving the city's appearance. Is that the goal?
Exactly, yes. The program is part of Busan's broader effort to create a cleaner urban landscape by reducing unnecessary outdoor advertising.
Yes, thanks for telling us about this. Moving on, visitors to Busan will get a chance to experience Korean traditional culture during the UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting. What's being planned?
Yes, a special performance called Good to Go in Busan, one stage, all K-arts, which is 굿보러 가자 Busan in Korean, will be held on July 26th at Pexco to celebrate the 48th UNESCO World Heritage Committee session. The event will feature a wide range of Korea's traditional performing arts.
Yes, what kind of performances can people expect?
So the program will feature everything from royal court music and pansori to traditional folk performances like 농악 and 남사당놀이. More than 120 performers, including nationally recognized masters and young artists, will take part.
Right, and this is not necessarily a brand new event, right?
That's right. The 굿보러 가자 Busan series began in 2004 and has traveled around the country, introducing audiences to Korea's intangible cultural heritage. More than 100,000 people have attended the performances over the years.
Yes, and of course, I need to ask, can the public attend?
Of course. The performance is free and open to the public. Organizers say it's a chance for both Korean and international audiences to experience the richness and diversity of Korea's traditional arts while they're in Busan.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for going over all the local news. Wishing you a beautiful day. We'll check in with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Everybody, this was Jian with Now in Busan. I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. Let's talk about the congestion on Dongsuo Overpass from Hwangyang Ramp to Kaegum. It's also backed up on Nakdong Namno from Gangso Police Station to Seongsan Three-Way intersection. There's traffic building on Mandakdero from Sukdung to Deokcheon intersection. It's also slow on Luno Samsungdero from Myeongji Underpass to Shino Bridge. It's currently 21 degrees Celsius here in Busan under sunny skies, with a daytime high going up to 26 today. Across the nation, summer, it's already here across much of the country, with many areas seeing above 30 degrees in terms of temperature. Showers forecast for parts of Gangwon and Jeolla, which will reduce visibility and make the roads slippery. So please be careful when you're driving. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for the morning brief. President invites Pope Leo to visit South Korea. President Lee Jae-myung met with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican on Monday local time and invited the Pope to visit South Korea next year on the occasion of Seoul hosting World Youth Day 2027. "22 police officers disciplined over alleged involvement in martial law." A disciplinary committee under the Prime Minister's office has decided to dismiss 2 officers and demote 4 others, as well as suspensions and pay cuts for 16 others over their alleged role in former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law bid in 2024. Kospi lands above 8,500 on U.S.-Iran deal. The benchmark Kospi rose sharply yesterday for a third winning streak in a row, closing at 8,545 points on the back of an agreement between the United States and Iran to end their months-long war. Olympic Committee demands government action on election protesters. The Korean Sport and Olympic Committee has demanded government action on protesters who have been blocking entry to the SK Olympic Handball Gymnasium and Sports Federation's offices for the past 12 days following the local election ballot shortage. Trump declares U.S.-Iran peace deal all signed. Donald Trump says a deal to end the war with Iran has already been signed and details will be released pretty soon, as a formal signing is set to take place in Switzerland on Friday. This was the Morning Brief. You're tuned into Morning Wave in Busan. This is hour number 1, and we're now going to turn to Haley for top stories. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we're going to jump right into the biggest story right now, of course, the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, which continues to be the top story. And statements, they were coming in during our program yesterday about the ceasefire to be signed this coming Friday once again, with 24 hours that have passed since the initial announcement. Where are we on this?
A lot of statements are still coming in, but we know that both the United States and Iran, they are standing by the ceasefire or the pause to stop immediate hostilities. U.S. President Donald Trump said that the deal has already been signed, and it seems that it has electronically by American Vice President J.D. Vance and the Speaker of the Parliament in Iran, Mohammad Bagher Galibaf. And here's what's important. The deal is to extend the current ceasefire for 60 days to create a framework for future negotiations. So in terms of the details, such as Iran's nuclear program, sanctions, or rather lifting of the sanctions and regional security, all of this still needs to be hammered out. But the negotiations in those 60 days could lead to a final peace settlement.
Yes.
And the White House officials, as you just said, stated that the full details would be published in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Well, the big question is this. What about the Strait of Hormuz?
It is the big question indeed, because statements differ between the U.S. and Iran. So U.S. officials say that this would open the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for a lifting of U.S. sanctions, or U.S. naval blockade on Iran, rather. And the officials said that the MOU CW says that Hormuz will be open for 60 days without tolls. However, what happens after? That seems to be the big question because Iran is of the position that after these 60 days, it will begin to impose tolls under the pretense of maritime services. However, this just in, President Donald Trump said during the G7 summit that the Hormuz will be, quote, completely open from this Friday.
I see. Well, as you said, the ceasefire talks and negotiations have been dragging on for months. What may have been the determining point for either side?
Right. For President Donald Trump, oil prices and how that weighs domestically on the political and the economic front. But throughout the war, if you kind of look back, President Trump has been much more on the side of a pro-ceasefire because even though he has been fairly combative verbally on social media, he rarely ever followed through with those threats, including last week when he pulled the planned attacks on Iran.
Yes. Well, what about Iran?
Iran's situation, most certainly economic reason pushing the leadership. The U.S. naval blockade had put an unbelievable strain on the Iranian economy. On top of it, already dipping into its military and financial reserves to fight essentially the world's biggest military. Of course, there is then the underside of the bubbling public opinion against a regime that was exacerbated by the economic situation.
Right.
In fact, a reflection of how bad it has been, the Iranian currency, the rial, has been plummeting in value to 1.8 million rial to the dollar in the black market last year, and that has spiked inflation to 50%.
50. Well, the war has had a tremendous impact on the rest of the world, South Korea certainly included. Now, how might the end of war impact the country?
Right. So the impacts have been not only immediate to Iran, the Middle East, but really everywhere else in the world. So now let's look at how this might affect the situation on the Korean Peninsula. So with the U.S. and President Trump's attention been tied up in the Middle East, that's been happening for the past, 4 months. But with the war potentially ending, there is some attention as to if this may rekindle the flames between talks within North Korea and the United States.
Yes, and President Trump actually fueled this interest.
He did. So we go back to Saturday local time when President Trump posted a photo of himself walking with North Korean Chairman Kim Jong-un. That was from the Singapore summit back in June of 2018. Of course, that was the anniversary, almost the anniversary of that meeting. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yes.
And President Trump just posted that picture with no words. So instead, pundits had thousands of words to say, including, is this a signal that Trump is looking at North Korea as sort of a next project, especially to create diplomatic results ahead of the upcoming November midterm elections?
Well, is this feasible is the question.
Right. So for that, we actually have to look at the other half of that potential deal, North Korea. Because North Korea has been very much staunchly against denuclearization in the past year or so, including boosting its self-proclaimed status as a nuclear nation. And then we also have to add to that the emerging dynamic of North Korea-China and North Korea-Russia. So with these respective ties getting stronger and stronger, a formerly top-down, this sort of unilateral last-minute summit might be harder to pull because Pyongyang may have more to lose from its traditional allies by cozying up to the United States.
Yes, and that's the impact on the Korean Peninsula. Well, what about the South Korean economy?
Well, here the biggest issue definitely has been oil and energy prices because South Korea, we all know, we've been under a fuel price cap. Also for the public center, this alternate day driving and public parking lots, the 5-day no driving.
Yes.
So at the core of this issue has been trouble getting crude oil because South Korea gets about 70% of its crude oil from the Middle East, the vast majority of which runs through the Strait of Hormuz.
Right. The government has been trying to secure alternative sources.
It has. So with that problem, Seoul's been looking for it and it has looked for alternative routes and it has picked up pace quite a bit on getting non-Middle Eastern crude oil, and that has somewhat stabilized the supply. So according to the Trade, Industry, and Energy Minister Kim Jong-kwan, the country has secured up to 86% of its crude oil and 83% of its naphtha compared to the same time previous year.
Yes.
And it has enough reserve oil to last us for over a month. So industry insiders say that even if the Strait of Hormuz is open, it won't lead to this rush of ships all of a sudden coming through and crude oil getting to the country. Number one, the speed of oil tankers. And number two, the number of ships in the strait.
Yes.
However, there are 24 South Korean ships that have been stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, and this does give them hope of finally getting out.
Well, what about the price of fuel that we see at the pump when we fill up?
Wouldn't we like to know, right?
Yes.
So this goes to the fuel price cap and when that might potentially end. Because previously, the industry ministry has given guidelines of, in order to lift the price cap, the end to war, normalization of the Strait of Hormuz, and global oil prices stably at the $90 per barrel range. Currently, the Brent crude is trading at $80 per barrel range, but will that actually stay here, or is this a temporary dip due to optimism for the deal? That will be the big question. Because here's the thing, a too quick lifting of that fuel price cap could result in a surge of domestic fuel prices, and that'll affect inflation, and no one wants that.
Of course not. Well, now we're going to turn our attention to President Lee Jae-myung's diplomatic trip and his meeting with the Pope.
That's right. So President Lee Jae-myung met with Pope Leo XIV. During the meeting, he explained the South Korean government's vision for peace on the Korean peninsula, as well as the people's hopes for such peace, and also confirmed the Vatican's unwavering support for peace and reconciliation.
Yes, and the president also invited Pope Leo to South Korea.
He did, as you said, that's on the occasion of World Youth Day, which is an annual international gathering of Catholic youth. That's according to the National Security Advisor, Wi Sung-rak. The president and the Pope also presumably discussed the possibility of the Pope's visit to North Korea. And South Korean-born Cardinal Lazaro Yuhung-sik told the press that the visit would depend on how Pyongyang handles that matter.
The presidential office also had some symbolic gifts for the Pope, I hear.
And that's always a matter of some attention. The president gifted the Pope a sculpture titled The Embrace of the Lord, which depicts the story of the prodigal son, 돌아온 탕아, symbolizing sympathy and forgiveness for mankind, reconciliation, and recovery. He also gifted a 백자, this white porcelain bowl with a lid, which values cleanliness and the beauty of emptiness that goes in line with the aesthetic value or aesthetic nature of priesthood.
All right, thanks for reporting on that story. Moving on, we're going to talk about some job-related issues. Amid the tough job market, the number of stable, full-time employment has also seen a drop.
Right, so the country saw the first decline in stable full-time positions, what we call 상용직, in the month of May. That's the first in over 26 years. So these full-time workers are employed persons who are expected to stay in their respective positions for at least 1 year. So therefore are considered to be the most stable of employment, close to these quote-unquote regular 정규직 workers.
Right, let's get further details.
Right, so according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, last month, the number of full-time workers decreased by 7,000 from the same time last year. And as I said, this is the first decline of such full-time workers since 1999. If you think about that, that was still when the country was being affected by the Asian financial crisis.
That's right, and the impact was heavy among young people.
Unfortunately so, the decline was prominent amongst those in their 20s and 30s, especially in the manufacturing sector, which saw 92,000 such jobs lost. So we are seeing this pattern of losses in jobs in the youth and also the middle-aged group, but then those jobs being filled more or less by the seniors. To that end, manufacturing jobs increased by 18,000 in the 60 and above group. In fact, the total number of waged workers in their 20s decreased with big drops of 57,000, especially in the information and the telecom sector.
What's the reason or possible reasons behind this?
A couple of reasons or possibility. This could be because workers in the entry level, they are moving up the corporate chain of command to the more experienced groups in hiring, so those in their 30s and above. But some experts also attribute this to the sign of these jobs being replaced by AI. Although the government is currently of the position that it is too early to definitively say that at this point.
Right. Another key reason seems to be the war in the Middle East.
Right. So at least in terms of the first few months of the year, this seems to be the biggest variable. Although the ceasefire signing is scheduled for this Friday again, the government had rosier projections way back in January with construction and manufacturing sectors specifically. However, the U.S.-Iran war and its impact on fuel, then the raw materials. These all burden the companies, so much so that they're just not hiring people. So the finance ministry said that responses in hiring are about a beat later after the actual economy. In fact, these figures from last month are reflections of the shock from February to March period. So we might have a little bit more of a dip coming before they get better.
Thanks for reporting on this one. Moving on, we have been talking about the state of debt, but let's focus on one particular population.
Especially amongst the older business owners. So according to the credit assessment institution NICE data released by Democratic Party lawmaker Lee In-young, this is on the state of overdue loans from personal businesses. So as of last April, a total of 3.32 million business owners took out a total of 1,138 trillion won in loans. That's about half a percentage point higher than the end of last year.
Yes, and that's the total amount of loans. What about overdue loans?
So a little bit of good news to start us off. The number of business owners with overdue loans by at least 3 months, that went down by 5%. However, when we look at the total amount, the monetary amount owed by increased by 7.7%, and that is the highest figure in 5 months.
Do we know the reasons behind this?
So it seems to be number one, the increase in interest rates plus the stagnant economy. So as the bill is mounting, the business isn't doing much better. So with this, the loan balance for business owners in their 60s or older went up by 2.5%. They were the only group to show an increase in overdue loan amounts.
Yes.
The number of overdue debtors also increased by 0.7%. Again, the only age group in the 60s and above to show that uptick. So experts say this is because the nature of businesses owned by the elderly being on the smaller scale, lower profit, therefore they get hit harder when the economy is bad.
Yes. And now for a final story. Starbucks Korea announced a company-wide history and social sensitivity training following that whole Tank Day controversy.
So Shinsegae Group announced yesterday that it will hold a group-wide historical education and sensitivity training for executives of E-Mart and its subsidiaries, as well as the employees of Starbucks Korea. So this, of course, follows that controversial Tank Day promotion that took place on May 18th, which was the anniversary of a democratic movement and a bloody crackdown. Also, on top of that, the usage of this phrase that was reminiscent of what the authorities said back in the 1980s to cover up a death of a student activist after torture.
Yes, so we need to know details about this training.
The training will include Shinsegae Group's chairman Jung Yong-jin, who has pledged changes following the controversy in his public apology, so the training is a part of this. The training will take place tomorrow at the company's training center, and the partners or the employees of the individual branches will undergo training next Monday, the 22nd. And actually, this might affect the general public because on this day, all Starbucks stores will close down at 3 p.m. Again, that's next Monday, the 22nd, while the baristas, aka the partners, undergo this training. The sessions will be run by Professor Oh Jae-yeon of Seongkyungan University. He's an expert in Korean contemporary history, as well as sociology professor Koo Jung-woo of the same university. And the sessions will go over how corporations should consider things like history, labor, gender, and human rights in their promotions.
I see. Well, thank you for all the top stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2, Haley. That was Haley once again, everybody. It's time for our first song break of this Tuesday. So here it is, Sour Candy by Wood.
이 감정은 뭘까 또 무슨 말을 할까 왜 눈을 감아 너 You got me like 떠올리는 남자 뭐 우린 너무 가까워 Oh my God Oh baby 너가 날 보면 떨려와 너가 미소 지으면 날 보며 다가와 볼에 입 맞추면 난 또 Close my eyes, breathe in, breathe out. 어떻게 나 완전 be addicted to your love. Oh baby, 너가 날 보면 떨려와. 너가 미소 지으면 eyes, breathe in, breathe out. 어떻게 나 완전 be addicted to love. 1, 2, 3 and close my eyes, breathe in, breathe out. 어떻게 나 완전 be addicted to love. Yeah. 너가 쿵하면 나는 자꾸 우린 박수 누가 봐도 부러워할 type. Yeah. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him 우리끼리만 하고 있는 sign. 내게 윙하면 나도 윙 주고받아 딥 나내고 휙하고 보면 휙 나도 보내 휙 우린 너무 달아 sweet 너무 달아 sweet 아무도 우리 못 찾게 다시 폭격해.
Traffic is so bad. Let's see what's on the radio.
Get the latest news and current issues that you need here on Morning Wave in Busan. You're now listening to Morning Wave in Busan with me, Catherine. Welcome back, everybody. It's now time to check in with Andrew. He's in the new studio with me right now as we speak for Wave.
Sports.
I know, which camera?
Which camera are we on here?
So many cameras.
I know, how are things?
Pretty good. Getting used to the new surroundings.
Yeah, the digs are quite nice. I think like any new house,
yes.
you could take some time to get used to it.
Got to break it in.
Have you tripped over any of the cords in here?
Not yet. I've been extra careful, but there are many cords.
I was going to knock on wood, but I don't think this is wood. It's actually something else.
It's
anyway,
like a faux marble.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, no, it's nice. I like the lights. I like it's bright lights, big studio.
Yes. Well, I need to ask your text topic.
Oh yeah.
It's all about hair.
Oh, well.
Hairstyle. You're looking spiffy nice today.
No.
However, our text topic is this. What type of hairstyle do you prefer? Wavy, straight, short, long? Have you ever had long hair, Andrew?
Yeah.
Like headbanger long?
Oh, like down to here?
Yeah.
Like as long as your hair is right now? No, I think the longest I had was what we would consider like hockey hair.
What's hockey hair?
Hockey hair is like, it goes like this. It's, I don't know, it's like a layered, I'm sure PD&M could probably find a picture of hockey hair somewhere.
Oh.
But yeah, it's, maybe that long. But do you mean for me or what I prefer on a woman?
Both.
Or
your significant other?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. Not a big deal. I think you have to, for short hair, like very short hair,
yes,
you have to be able to pull it off.
That's
Where
true.
I feel longer hair
it's more forgiving.
There you go. And you can do more with it.
That's true. Versatile, forgiving.
Exactly.
All right, now we're going to jump into some sports news.
Yes.
What's going on? There's a big event going on.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, I feel a little bit like I was going to dive into everything South Korea, but I figured, well, I'm pretty sure you've already talked a bit about this. Obviously, it was probably some of the biggest news in the country. But the 2026 FIFA World Cup has kicked off with nonstop drama. Some, I don't want to say some highs and some lows because maybe that might make some teams not look as good as they are. But I think some teams are maybe over, what's the word I'm looking for? They're showing up a little more than people thought they were going to. Maybe we'll stay with that.
Definitely.
All right. So, but Group A is already shaping up to be a bit of a battlefield. Both tournament hosts or co-hosts, Mexico and South Korea, secured massive opening night victories to claim the top spots in the group. Now, Mexico does have a slight edge on them, goal differential, but hopefully we can, kind of take care of that this Friday. When I say we, I mean South Korea.
Team Korea.
Right, exactly. So the Taeguk Warriors kicked off their tournament campaign in spectacular fashion, silencing critics with a gritty resilient 2-1 victory over a physically imposing Czechia. And it was noticeable in this one. I always say Korea needs to be a little bit more physical when they play, but this was noticeable. But for once, the referee was actually calling the fouls on a lot of the headers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where I think a lot of time they usually let those go. Now, this match was in Guadalajara. Despite entering the match under a cloud of tactical uncertainty, as we talked about this weeks leading up to it, that South Korea was missing one of their main center backs. But the manager was able to put things together, and, they're at the top or shared top of the group, I guess, with the will. Now, we're going to get to a clip here. This is from ESPN FC's Ali Moreno talking about South Korea and maybe their chances moving forward.
It was impressive from South Korea how they reacted to going down and how they were able to not just keep possession of the ball, but keep possession with a purpose and pushing Czechia back and finding the equalizer. And then after that, being able to create enough opportunity to find a winner. I thought South Korea were really impressive, so much so that I watched both matches and I'm thinking, after watching both matches, who's the best team in this group after both performances? And I was far more impressed with South Korea than I was with Mexico. And it makes me think that South Korea will go places in this tournament.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean,
places.
Going places.
Yes.
And I think they did surprise a lot of people because they were able to battle back. This is something that we haven't seen from South Korea for a while.
Yes.
Is that when they do go down, we don't usually see that come back, especially against a team that, defended so well in Czechia.
True.
And I thought they were just going to, shut up shop. But Czechia had that second goal knocked off because of offside.
Yes.
And I believe maybe saved a lot of, emergency room visits across the country here. Heart attacks.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if we were like 2-0?
Yeah, no.
That would be hard to come back
Yes.
from. Right. So, how are things shaping up? Because we heard that clip.
Yes.
So, what is your prediction? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Ahead to Friday? We're looking
Yeah,
at Friday?
right
so
off.
I think South Korea has a chance. Now, I touted this game. I said this game, if they're going to lose one, this is a game they're going to lose. Just because it is the host. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, you walk into that stadium, it's going to be, I would say, 90% Mexican fans. And even maybe some of the South Koreans might be cheering for Mexico because they might feel intimidated. But I would say after that opening game, I think my opinion has changed a bit. I think they definitely have, the momentum and maybe the belief now going into this one.
Yes.
I was hoping in that Czechia game, at least they get a point. They definitely got a lot more than that.
Yes.
So going into this. So the co-hosts here, Mexico, Eltri, are flying high after that opening match. And they do hold on paper, on paper, a historical edge against South Korea. But I feel that, South Korea can even if they lose this match, moving forward into the final match against South Africa, I think if they lose, but they have a good showing, then they'll be okay. And, hopefully they get a point, if not more, against South Africa, and then they're into the round of 32.
And the thing is this, up until, this coming Friday, it's like the Mexican fans have been so supportive of Team Korea, right?
You see the fans, there was like people kissing.
I know, I was
they're
like, what's going on
embracing
here?
each other. It's pretty amazing stuff. But I don't think it's going to be like that.
Not on Friday.
On Friday, no, not at all.
Frenemies.
Exactly.
So, any other news? I saw the match this morning.
Well, no, this is what I was going to ask you something. I have a math question for you. I'm not sure. I know we're both English teachers.
Okay.
But I'm curious.
Yes.
What's 67 minus 2?
67 minus 2? Is it not 65?
Well, that's what it would be. And that is the difference in FIFA rankings between Cape Verde and Spain. 65 spaces or positions. And I believe Cape Verde, maybe they're going to have a statue built in their capital square of Vozinha, who's their goalie. And it was so funny. Just before coming in, I was watching a short, and it was just like, there's like a sound when somebody is like, da-dang, like when something bad happens or they don't get past a certain level. It was every shot that Spain had and every save he had. It was like, da-dang, da-dang, da-dang.
I mean, insane.
It was unreal.
Right.
It's not often you see one player really change a game, especially when there's 11 on your team.
Sure.
But he made the difference. And I actually watched the first half of this. and then went to bed, and it was 0-0. And I was like, I kind of want to see what's going to happen here. The only reason I watched the first half because I wanted to see all the goals. And then I woke up and I was like, oh yeah, I'll check this.
What
in
goals?
my head, 6-0 maybe,
Right.
like the Germany game against Curacao.
Exactly.
And it was 0-0. Spain 0, Cape Verde 0.
Right,
Which has
so-
flipped this on its head because I believe a lot of people have, Spain winning it. But
Yeah.
if you go back to 2022,
Mm-hmm.
a certain Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And then went on to win it. So maybe that. So I'm not sure.
I found the Belgium-Egypt game. That was pretty exciting
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
also exciting. And then if
Yes.
you look at the Netherlands and Japan game the night
Yes.
before,
2-2.
2-2
Action
again.
everywhere.
So I think it's setting up for a very, very good group stage. A lot of people, there's a lot of naysayers with the new format, the 48 teams and everything like that. But I feel the only blowout we've seen so far is the Germany 7-1 over Curacao.
True.
And I think
True.
Curacao, they were still pretty happy. They were just like, we're just happy to be here.
Exactly.
And their fans are as well. So I think that's something looking forward that, I'm sure there's going to be a few more blowouts. But I don't know, as it's looking right now, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
It's been fun so far. So
Yes.
No complaints here. All right. Shall we? Do you have any other?
I was going to complain about what everyone's complaining about.
pricing?
With the pricing. It's unbelievable. Now, we talked about this
Yes.
probably, I don't know, 4 months ago, 5 months ago,
Right,
and it's
right.
been the ongoing topic. Then the biggest negative cloud hanging over the tournament is there's a widening legal investigation now into FIFA's dynamic ticketing pricing policy. Now, this is because there was the promised $60 baseline tickets.
Where?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone found them on the street. I'm not sure
where?
about that. To over $8,000. But now, I was looking at some of these prices for to be in a box or a luxury area.
No.
I don't know if you're looking to take out a second, third, or fourth mortgage on your house
To attend?
to attend this. But it is, there is a probe that's looking directly into this, and it's probably going to. I don't think anything's going to come of it because it'll probably just get squashed at some at some level.
Yes.
Someone will be paid off and it'll be done.
It is FIFA.
It is FIFA. I'm not saying that there's some behind-the-scenes shenanigans going on, but I just feel that there's a lot of issues going on with FIFA saying there's a scarcity of tickets, but there's not a scarcity of tickets because when you look at a lot of these stadiums,
I know.
there's a lot of empty seats.
Exactly. So the math is not mathing.
Yeah,
At least in my head.
I like that. Yeah, it's not the 67 minus 2.
No.
No.
Not that simple. All right. Well, thanks for all the updates on the FIFA World
Yes.
Cup. But let's move on to another sport. What are we going to cover today?
Some LPGA.
Ah.
Now, I'm not sure if you watched any of this tournament over
A
the
little
weekend.
bit.
A little bit. Yeah,
Yes.
it's one of my favorite tournaments to watch on the LPGA calendar, the Dow Championship, this year held in Michigan, because it is a team event.
Yes.
And it's almost like, I don't want to say they're not trying out there because they're definitely trying. The scores are obvious that they're trying, but they look like they're having fun.
Yes.
They have their teammate and they're joking. It's a best ball thing. So if you even hit a bad shot, your teammate hits a good shot, you're doing all right. But it was an absolute nail biter over the weekend at the Dow Championship. But Kim Hyo-joo, Im Chae-jin, ultimately they fell just short of the
Right.
championship trophy, but they stole the sole second place finish. And this was something where they were a bit off the pace going into Sunday. And they ended up having a bogey-free 5-under par round on Sunday.
Yes.
To finish with a minus 15. Unfortunately, the American duo of Gina Kim and Yenna Wilson, they were an absolute buzzsaw on Sunday.
That's right.
Minus 8 on Sunday to take the championship with a minus 17. But I do have to give a big shout out here to Somi Lee and Jin Hee Im because actually they were the defending champions of this event. And they were kind of back and forth all week. And then on Sunday, it just seemed like everything I don't know, lined up. The stars aligned, if you will.
They did.
They had a -9 best round of the day that gave them the share of third place, where I felt going into Sunday, they were just looking to have a good day. I don't think anyone expected this for the previous, 3 or 4 days that they had out at the course.
Yes. Well, we also have to talk about the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I know you're much more of a basketball fan than myself, but I think any sports fan can appreciate a 50, I can't even get it out because it's so unbelievable, 53-year drought.
I know.
In which, in a team like the Knicks, New York, such, Madison Square Garden, such, a historic team, to go 53 years without a championship.
That is a drought.
It just reminds me of the Boston Red Sox from, they won in 03 or was 04. No, I'm a Red Sox fan. People are going to come after me. Now, so yes, the first championship since 1973. And it was unbelievable because the amount of fans that traveled to this game as well was fantastic. And then you saw New York City just, I don't want to say on fire, but there were parts of it that definitely were, and some vehicles. And then some people were like, it's been 53 years.
But still.
Give them a break.
I don't know. I don't like to see all
I
that.
Hate it. I hate it.
Seeing the looting and
exactly.
Yes, you can celebrate without destroying stuff. No.
Yeah. So they were able to win this game 5. So Knicks in 5. It was Knicks in 4, and then it was Knicks in 5.
Yes.
Led by Jalen Brunson, who rightfully captured the Finals MVP trophy.
Right.
Now New York executed a dominant postseason run that featured back-to-back sweeps of Philadelphia and Cleveland before facing down the generation town of Victor Wembanyama. Now, a lot of people, they love to hate the Knicks, and the Knicks have been a storied franchise where everybody has hated them outside of people from New York.
True.
And even sometimes people from New York. But this team is a very, very likable team.
I agree.
A lot of people like this team.
I agree.
And, it's interesting to see that because I'm not a big basketball fan. I guess the Celtics or the Raptors would be mine. But yeah, I don't know. But congrats to them.
Yes.
I was hoping to have, go a little bit further to put some more drama into it. But unfortunately, that did not happen.
It did not happen.
Yes.
So we got to talk about the Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup. Yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes have ascended back to the top of the hockey world, capturing their second Stanley Cup in franchise history with a clinical 3-0 shutout victory against the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 6. Now, this was exactly 20 years after their coach, Rob Brendamore, lifted the championship trophy in 2006. Now, he guided this resilient squad to a blistering 16-3 postseason record. They went through the first round 4-0.
Yes.
Second round 4-0. Then they played my Montreal Canadiens.
My
Montreal Canadiens, and it was not so good for the Canadiens. It was a 4-1 with the gentleman's sweep. Montreal won game 1, and then Carolina won the rest.
Yes.
And then they faced the Golden Knights in the finals, and it was to game 6 for that. So a 4-2 win. Now, Jordan Staal won the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. And their goalie, this is kind of a funny story.
Yes.
In hockey, obviously, goalie is very, very important. But Brendan Bussey, who had an unusual year. He got let go for another team, picked up by another team on waivers, let go, picked up again by the Hurricanes, came in, had an unbelievable run in the middle of the season when Freddie Anderson went hurt, and then didn't play at all in the playoffs until he went in Game 4.
Wow.
Actually, he came in Game 3, lost in double overtime, and then won 3 straight to win the championship.
What a storied season.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
So the Caniacs in Carolina, congrats to you and to the Knicks fans in New York. But I do have one more question because I know we have a minute or two here.
No, we have plenty of time
We have plenty of time. Back to the World Cup because I do want to talk about this just for a moment. So moving ahead, there's something here. If Canada finishes second in Group B, all right, which right now Group B is all 1-1-1-1-1 because they all drew.
Yes.
And if South Korea finishes second in Group A, they face each other in the round of 32.
Ooh.
So I'm curious. I don't know what I'm going to do with my household, but
what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're going to cheer for South Korea. I said to my boys, I said, it doesn't matter. I'll be happy with whoever wins. But inside it'll be the maple leaf in my heart. But I don't think did we make predictions of who we thought were going to win? I said Spain or France.
I said France.
You're still France. And the thing is, I think maybe some people after Spain on this one, they might change their tune a bit.
They might jump up.
But because there's so many teams,
right.
France and England haven't even played yet.
Exactly.
They haven't played yet. So I just wanted to set up some games that are coming up tonight.
All right, yes.
And, the next couple of days here. So looking forward, actually there's right now, the Saudi Arabia and Uruguay game is 1-0 right now for Saudi Arabia. I was surprised with that. And at 10 a.m., Iran plays New Zealand.
Yes.
But I guess late tonight.
Right.
It'll be at 4 a.m. will be France versus Senegal, which I think from that group is probably one of the games that a lot of people are really interested in.
I'm tuning in.
Also, the Norway against Iraq game, but Norway and France, a lot of people want to see Haaland and Mbappe. And that'll be later on in the group stage.
That's going to be exciting.
And then early morning, not early morning, sorry, 10 a.m.
Yes.
will be Argentina versus Algeria. And then at 1 p.m., these 1 p.m. games are throwing me for a real loop. It's
Exactly.
unbelievable. Austria versus Jordan. And then if we go ahead until, I guess it would be Thursday, the first time we're going to get to see Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal in action against, this is funny, the Dominican Republic, or is it the Democratic Republic of the Congo?
It's the Democratic Republic of the Congo, yes.
But there was a girl, I saw this, there was online.
DRC, right.
Yeah, she said Dr. Congo. She was in saying she pulled it out of the hat, Dr. Congo. That's why I checked myself when I said it.
DRC, yes.
But a game a lot of people are interested in is England versus Croatia. That will be 5 a.m. Thursday morning. And the other game, we have Ghana versus Panama on Thursday morning as well. So lots of stuff going on. Before we get to that game, South Korea versus Mexico at 10 a.m. on Friday morning. I can't wait to walk by some schools and hopefully hear some, I love it.
We look forward to it.
Yeah,
Friday,
sure.
10 a.m. All right.
Yes.
Well, we're going to call it a wrap for Wave Sports
All
in our
right.
brand new studio.
I love it. It's fantastic. The new digs,
Yes.
get a thumbs up from me.
All right, everybody. This was Andrew. It's time to wrap up hour number 1 already. This is DNA. This is one of the 2026 FIFA World Cup songs. So enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
And I say, hey, anche se cadiamo, poi noi ci rialziamo. It's more than just a game, it's our DNA.
Yeah, 또 넘어져도 돼, 또 다시 일어나. This is more than just a game, it's our DNA. Tonight we live our destiny. Only got one shot and I know I believe that we'll keep on fighting while the world is watching. I know everything is meant to be. We'll stand together, we'll stand the pressure. Wave your flags up in the sky, let fate decide. So we say, hey, we're not gonna break. Yeah, we're standing here today, 'cause it's more than just a game, it's our DNA. Yeah, we shoot it from the stars, got a fire in our hearts. This is more than just a game, it's our
Everybody winning, come and kick it with the grade. Flowers at my feet, time to pull it out the base. Dripping down my face. If I run a race, it'll be a paper chase. The hottie gotta win. Haters throwing stones, turn the diamonds on the wrist. Give it all you got, taking shots, never miss. My squad out legit. Walking on the field, I die before I quit.
We'll stand together, we'll stand the pressure. Wave your flags up in the sky, let fate decide. So we say, hey, we're not gonna break. Yeah, we're standing here today, 'cause it's more than just a game, it's our DNA. Yeah, we shoot it for the stars, got a fire in our hearts. This is more than just a game, it's our
It's time for 8 o'clock Spotlight News. President invites Pope Leo to visit South Korea. President Lee Jae-myung met with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican on Monday local time and invited the Pope to visit South Korea next year on the occasion of Seoul hosting World Youth Day 2027. He also gave a briefing to the Pope on South Korea's initiative to build peace on the Korean peninsula, as Seoul seeks to leverage the Vatican's attention in its effort to ease tensions and build peace with North Korea. The president is set to visit France to attend the G7 summit in Avion, including discussions on development, global inequality, and AI. "22 police officers disciplined over alleged involvement in martial law. A disciplinary committee under the Prime Minister's office has decided to dismiss 2 officers and demote 4 others, as well as suspensions and pay cuts for 16 others over their alleged role in former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law bid in 2024. The dismissed officers were 2 senior superintendent generals, the third highest rank in the organization, accused of playing key roles in blocking access to the National Assembly on the night of December 3rd. Police also demoted Superintendent General Kim Jun-young, the second highest rank, by 1 rank to senior superintendent in what is widely considered an unusual move within the police organization. Kospi lands above 8,500 on U.S.-Iran deal. The benchmark Kospi rose sharply yesterday for a third winning streak in a row, closing at 8,545 points on the back of an agreement between the United States and Iran to end their months-long war. The Korea Exchange issued a sidecar shortly after the market opened as foreign investors and institutional investors became net buyers, pushing up the index further. The Korean won rose sharply to 1,511 won against the dollar at the end of the day. Olympic Committee demands government action on election protesters. The Korean Sport and Olympic Committee has demanded government action on protesters who have been blocking entry to the SK Olympic Handball Gymnasium and Sports Federation's offices for the past 12 days following the local election ballot shortage. Representatives from those sports organizations have said their administrative work has been paralyzed, including the Korean Fencing Federation, where its athletes are going without their own equipment at the Asian Championship this week. President Yoo Seung-min, in a press conference yesterday, demanded that entry be allowed into the offices, adding that the organization is prepared to take any possible legal action against protesters. Trump declares U.S.-Iran peace deal all signed. President Donald Trump says a deal to end the war in Iran has already been signed and details will be released pretty soon, as a formal signing is set to take place in Switzerland on Friday. The U.S. president also claimed that the Strait of Hormuz is partially opened as he arrived at the G7 summit in France. However, loose ends are evident as Israel breaches a ceasefire in Lebanon and Iran claims that it has a right to charge fees in the strait. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for a special interview. You know, the number of multicultural students here in South Korea has surpassed 200,000 for the very first time. This is a figure that is nearly 2.5 times higher than just 10 years ago. In addition, the number of migrant background high school students exceeded 30,000 last year for the first time, rising nearly 2.7 times over the past 5 years. And what this means is that a multicultural society is no longer a future issue, but rather a reality already folding in Korean schools today. However, there are growing concerns that education policies and institutions are not keeping pace with these rapid changes. In this context, we turn to an expert to better understand the challenges and future of multicultural education in Korea. Joining us once again is Professor Jesse Ha, Assistant Professor of Teaching and Learning at Montclair State University and the School of Computing and the College of Science and Mathematics. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
What do you think of our studios? Because last time we were upstairs.
This is a lot, and it's awesome though. But it's just amazing.
It's a lot to take it, right?
Yeah, it's when I saw the stream yesterday, I was like, oh, I have to sit in this studio. Okay.
Right. Well, it's great to have you back in the studio with us, Professor. So to begin, how would you describe the impact of growing student diversity in today's classrooms globally?
So, I think that this is an issue that is only going to grow because, well, if you think about climate change and stuff, then there's going to be more refugees. There's going to be more people moving around. We live in a completely globalized society. We can no longer just close off, let's say, the Strait of Hormuz because we're so interconnected in trade and people are moving around. And so multicultural education has also stressed other places too. Like if you go into the Nordic countries, even like Finland, Denmark, Norway, where they're known to have great education systems, they also have their own struggles with this as well.
I see. And South Korea is seeing a rapid increase in multicultural students, like I said in the intro. And what does this trend tell us, though, about broader global changes in education?
I would just say that one of the biggest things is that when we say multicultural education, let's just be frank, we're terming it mostly for ethnically, racially diverse peoples, right? And so that was, I think, one of the places, that's where the United States started. We started there because of desegregation and the Immigration Reform Act under Lyndon B. Johnson, and all of a sudden, people like myself were able to come to America, and globally, there's been this influx of just different people in the system.
Right.
But what it has done to the education system is that it is fundamentally, I guess, shown how flawed a one-size-fits-all model works. Because it really didn't work in the United States for a long time. It still doesn't really, but we're trying to make the best of it.
Absolutely. What do you think are the most common challenges schools face when classrooms become more culturally and linguistically diverse?
I'll first speak about this in terms of how we define multicultural now, but I also want us to shift maybe our thinking about what multicultural means as well. But first, in terms of having different kinds of people in the classroom, what it does is that it exposes the fact that different kinds of pedagogical techniques work well. Like, for example, lecturing works a lot better for Korean students, I found, that because they're so used to it. It's just part of who they are.
Yes.
But if you took just a student from the United States and you just ask them to sit in a lecture, they'll just fall asleep and they'll be okay with it, And so we need to find creative ways to try to bring access, but also interest and meaning to all of our students.
Sure.
Now, when I say all of our students, when we talk about multicultural education, I want to think about it also for the Korean students who are in Korea. Because we've kind of had this assumption that when a dominant group, part of society, that they're the ones they're focused on, that they are just one people. That's also not true as well.
Yes.
Korean people in Korea are very diverse. You're going to have students who really love soccer and FIFA, some who hate it. You're going to have some who are into anime. You're going to have some who are more introverted. Or there's so many aspects to the human experience that I think that I want to also say that our cultures are also internally diverse and also affinity-based, things that we like to do and things that we choose. Like some people choose a religion, some people choose golf. We choose these kinds of different identities. And I think that I want to push our conversation to also be inclusive. Why? Because I think it could be politically fragile sometimes when we talk about multicultural education and talk about it as it's an us versus them kind of a problem. And that's actually one of the lessons learned from the United States of through the history from desegregation all the way to now is that we've had the same issues.
Well said, Professor. Well, as classrooms become more diverse, what do you think education systems should focus on first? What's most important?
This is a tough one.
Okay.
Because in the end, teachers, we oftentimes are told that you teach to the end. As in, you think about what's the end goal, what is the end purpose. And for students, the end purpose for them what is it, right? Like for many, it might be what's Seoulde, right? For some, it might be I want to become a K-pop star,
Okay.
right? Some of them they don't have any ideas, and so I think the current education system is pretty much created for going to sky, right? And so I think that one of the things that needs to change is that because it's such a rigid system,
Right.
it doesn't work for everyone, and there are going to be students who intellectually can't handle the rigor of wanting to go to Seoul, and they never wanted to. They might want to do something else. Like Korea is going to need welders. Korea is going to need people who can build things. Like those are, I see like the 관리 아저씨s, they're all really old, right? Like we're not replacing these things. But there's students who might be interested, but they are incentivized out of it. And so I think our whole system of the way we teach and what we value in society needs to shift. And that probably means the student can't be the say-all for everything, which is hard to say.
It is, but they treat it, we treat it as like the end-all and be-all of everything. I mean, flights are suspended, for goodness sake, right? When the listening portion is going on. Well, in terms of the United States, schools have had much experience with culturally diverse classrooms. And what lessons do you think from the U.S. Education system could be relevant for countries like Korea, where we are facing not quite the same, but a few of the similar challenges and changes?
There have been many movements in terms of culturally, we call it culturally relevant, responsive, sustaining pedagogies. And it started off with Gloria Ladson-Billings from I forgot where she was at the time, but she's quite famous in the education circles. And she turned what's called culturally relevant pedagogy to kind of try and say what makes multicultural students, or in her case, Black students, succeed in the United States. And it was the fact that that teachers held high expectations. They allowed critical consciousness, as in allowing them to really think about themselves and their role in society. And then eventually that moved forward into responsive pedagogy. And within that framework, it was more then about how do we, as teachers and education systems, respond to students' culture, and how do we infuse it into the curricula so that everyone feels like they have a place. And then finally, sustaining pedagogies is then how do we actually help them develop their own cultures and the things that they're interested in, the people that they want to be.
I see. And I love that first part where you said high expectations.
Yes. Like lowering expectations is the easiest thing we can do. Like, oh, they don't speak Korean well? Okay, then we can make it a little easier for them. But, even as back in the 60s, we have studies that show that the expectations that teachers set, that's what determines the success of students.
Wow. Okay, so I will keep that in mind as I move forward educating my kids as well. In Korea, there are growing concerns, though, about how well students of different backgrounds are adjusting to school life. In fact, the dropout for migrant background high school students passed 2% in 2023 for the first time. And the most common reason stated was difficulty adjusting to school. So in this situation, how can schools better support these students? And I feel like not just the students, but I think the parents need support as well for them to be able to stay in school and succeed, not just academically, but socially to thrive.
Yeah, the most obvious one that I know that is going to be focused on is going to be language, right? Because it's hard to communicate, right? But I think that it goes much deeper than that. If you solve that, that's not going to solve the issue, I don't think, because the number one thing is going to be the feeling of belonging.
Yes.
Like the cultures often aren't shifted or inclusive of different kinds of people, and I know in Korea, for example, students probably might get bullied more often or might have other kinds of cultural misunderstandings.
Yes.
But also on top of that, there's also a feeling of lack of agency. It's like parents don't feel that they have a say. Right? Because Korean parents are going to come in and be like helicopter and tell the school what to do exactly. But if you don't speak the language, you don't know the culture, and you let's say you don't even have the best status, then it's going to be tough to make those kinds of relationships with schools. And I would say another thing that really takes away from the student experience is the fact that they can't feel a sense of purpose. Because I think there's a lot of folks, even the Korean students, but then it's compounded by the fact that, do I really believe that I'm going to succeed after going to school? Will school afford me the skill sets I need to go where I want to go. And I don't know if that really meets the needs for all people, especially when we get more diverse and thinking of like what success means.
Exactly. Food for thought for us, definitely. And what about the educators, the teachers themselves? How big of a role do they play in helping and shaping multicultural students succeed in school? And once again, not just academically, but socially as well.
Yeah, I'd say first, teachers, their effect is moderated by the fact that it really depends on their administration and how much they support.
True.
And also at the governmental level, right? But teachers are architects of their classroom, right? They get to choose expectations, roles. They get to decide how their internal culture of the classroom works, how the classroom climate feels like, right? And so teachers definitely play a huge role.
Yes.
And I think that one of the things that teachers need to really focus on is to think of diversity not as, oh, I need to make this different thing, but rather diversity of thought and of personhood is an asset. And how can we utilize this to improve the student learning experience? Because you know what? To become a global student or citizen, as we all Korean people, that word global, I hear it all the time.
Yes.
It requires the consideration of multiple perspectives, right? And so,
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up our conversation today, one final question for you today, Professor Ha. What do you think a truly successful, diverse, multicultural education system should look like for students? And this might be the toughest question, I know, but still, I need to ask.
I think back to when I taught in the high school that I think the last time I mentioned. I think one of the biggest things is that I think when every student feels that they have their place and that they can be fully their own version of their human selves.
Yes.
And a place where their weirdness, I'll say weirdness, like I remember I had students that were so weird, and it's because I'm weird and they were open to being it, right? But they feel that they can be part of a family in that sense. I think that is the core. Because if humans, we're not solo, we're not wolves. There's a lot of people, I used to think that way, but we really coalesce together and want to feel gelled in a community. And I think if you fix that aspect, a lot of the other things will fall into line.
Well, thank you for answering our questions, but also leaving us with room to digest and also to think about.
There's a lot to digest.
Yeah. Definitely was, but definitely food for thought as well. So thanks for coming into the studio. We appreciate it. Wishing you a beautiful trip while you're here in Korea.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, everybody. This was Professor Jessie Ha once again for a special interview focusing on education and in particular multicultural education, the new generation of kids popping up in Korean schools. This was your special interview. We're going to get to our song break. This is 파도 by UN.
나의 눈 속에 그보다 더 고운 너였어 하얀 모래 위 너와 내가 남긴 추억들 파도가 떠나도 내겐 지워지지 않는 걸 다시 찾은 바다가 하지만 이제 내 곁에 다른 사람이 있는 건 새롭게 시작하고 싶어 그녀를 따라왔어 하지만 내 맘 네 모습만 생각이 나 그녀 머리에 쏟아진 별들 하지만 너의 곁에도 다른 누가 있는 걸 안고 싶은 내 가슴 널 붙잡고픈 내 손길 어라 넌 이미 나를 둔 채 멀어져 가서 하지만 널 돌아보는 순간 두 눈에 흐르던 네 눈물 때문에 꼭 나처럼 기다린 너란 걸 알았어 날 봐 다시 너에게 달려가는 나를 봐 지는 태양도 내 사랑을 가릴 순 없어 하얀 모래 위 우리의 사랑을 다시 새겨봐 이제는 내 사랑 너를 놓지 않을 테니까
It's time for your traffic update. There is an accident on Luno Samsungdaedo from Ulsukdo Bridge to Myeongji Underpass direction right past the Myeonggyo Bridge. It's congested on the top portion of Gwangan Bridge all the way through Shinseondae Underpass. It's backed up on Gojedaedo from Hamajang intersection to Songgong three-way intersection. It's also looking slow on Byeonglo from Daeyeon ramp to Gwangan Tunnel. Currently, it is 22 degrees here in Busan. It's sunny, and the daytime high will go up to 26. Across the nation, summer's already here across much of the country, with many areas seeing hot, hot, hot. Above 30 degrees today. Showers forecast for parts of Gangwon and Jeolla, which will reduce visibility and make the roads even slippery. So please be careful when you're driving. This was your updated traffic and weather. It is time for Wagga Wagga Tea Time. Haley's back.
Hello, hello. It is and she is.
You know what I miss? I miss the little window that we used to have that we could peek out the window and
Can
check.
you see, like, there's a sliver of the window outside? It's
Yeah,
like
that's
window to the
true.
window. Yeah,
I didn't even look that far.
One of these days, maybe we'll do like a vlog. No promises, but vlog of our
Yes.
view of what we see.
We see trees.
We see cameras.
Yes, cameras everywhere. All right, well, we are now going to jump into our text topic first, and it's all about hair.
Hair,
buddy.
What is hair?
Yes, what do you prefer?
I used to be staunchly of the long hair camp. Yeah, because I mean, I used to joke and I shed like a dog, to quote my mom. And she's like, "Can you cut your hair?" I'm like, "Mom, I have to have a part of my body that's long. Ain't gonna be my limbs because I take after you. It's at least gotta be my hair.
The hair. But now it's like medium length.
It is medium length, and I'm kind of thinking about going shorter. Like, can I pull off 단발? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm curious.
I know, me too. Me too.
Well, we're going to jump into our first story. Oh, this is a little cruel.
I didn't
ironic.
intend it that way.
Okay, so the government is diving into getting healthcare coverage for hair loss treatment, and this is a real thing. So
this is absolutely a real
Yes.
thing. It's a policy thing, and we go back to 2022 during the presidential election back then.
Yes.
Then candidate Lee Jae-myung, he pledged to put hair loss pills under national health insurance coverage. And when he became president last year, he directed the government to look into this, saying that hair loss is a matter of survival, not just a beauty or a cosmetic treatment. And the president added that the feeling is especially true for young people people who pay into the healthcare insurance system all the same, but get less payout or coverage.
Yes. So what is the status of this initiative?
Recently, Health and Welfare Minister Jung Eun-kyung said in a press briefing that the ministry will gather public input. So they're in the process right now and seeks to expand healthcare coverage for hair loss treatment, especially for the younger demographic.
Okay. And what stands in the way of this being implemented?
Money. Because it is the health insurance corporation, it's the health insurance system. Because currently, hair loss treatments are covered for disease or autoimmune system-caused hair loss, like alopecia areata, that's 원형 탈모. But if the country were to widen that coverage, that could cost the healthcare insurance corporation hundreds of billions of won extra funding. So the authorities right now are working on likely pinning down an age group within the younger population and how much the current healthcare system can afford.
I see. Well, we're going to move on to our next topic. In this age of high food prices, there is a new system where you can get cheaper food before it expires, really?
For Korean consumers, I have a good tip for you. So if you're not driving, take out your phone because most bakeries, they have a policy of we only sell freshly baked bread. We don't carry that over to the next day.
Right.
But then, what does that mean if you have leftovers at the end of the night?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It gets thrown out for the most part. But now you can apparently use your delivery app to buy the set bread or pastries before they're thrown out at the end of the night. And this is a project that's being conducted with the Ministry of Climate, Energy, and Environment.
Yes, so we need to know more about this. How can we as citizens take advantage of the system?
And likely the best part is you already have the app because it's the delivery platforms. Haemin, Coupang Eats, and or Yogiyo. So now they have these 마감 할인 functions at the end of the day, the discount menu. So participating stores, and they include the major bakery franchises like Paris Baguette and 뚜레쥬르. And the intent is to share information on food items that could get thrown out, encouraging people to reduce food waste overall.
Yes.
So it depends what time this starts going, depends on the app. So for Haemin, this goes into place from 8 p.m. until the specific store closes. For Coupang Eats from 6 p.m. and Yogiyo from 9 p.m.
Well, thanks for the great tip. I'm sure people will check this out. Another food-related item, it is common to see these 1인 1메뉴, you know, this rule at cafes. But what do we consider as a single item menu?
All right. I want your input.
Okay, here we go.
All of your input. So
what is it?
We go to a cafe and we're like, cake 먹고 싶은데? And but also I'm not that thirsty. So if we got one Americano and one cake between the two of us.
We can split the coffee, right?
We can split the coffee and we can split the cake. Is that not 1인 1메뉴?
I would think because there are two people, we order two items.
Right. That you would think so, right? But some stores specify 1인 1 음료. One person, one
I've seen that.
beverage. And this has happened to me. Years back, I went with my little sister. We got a smoothie, which is like the more expensive menu, and then a cake. And they're like, oh, you have to order one more drink. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Right.
So this is what happened via this online post, and it's happened multiple times. But it just sparked a debate, and I thought it would be a fun one for us to have.
Yeah.
So this owner of a cafe insisted, and it was the customer who wrote the post, that 3 people went in, ordered 2 drinks and 1 piece of cake, but they had to get 3 drinks.
Okay, so why does it have to be drinks? What's with the drinks?
I know, right? It's because the cake is 7,000 won. The Americano is like 4,000 won.
Right.
Like, isn't that better for you? Not really. According to those who are in the know, the profit margin is smaller for the bakery items like cake, bread, and pastries.
I see.
But for the customer,
yes.
To put it very bluntly and maybe a little rudely, but just for the sake of rhetoric, is that my problem? That's what a lot of people are saying.
Yes.
So for the customer, in terms of how much they really do pay out, they're paying more for the cake.
Right.
So if, you have to get a drink on top of it, then it seems like we're, as customers, being asked for too much, especially when the owner's profit margin is the owner's profit margin.
Yes.
Is that not the cost of doing business? However, of course, it is a free economy, free market, and private businesses are free to do what they do.
But I've definitely seen that rule at some of the kind of bakery / cafes. So, okay, it is what it is. Well, we're going to move on for now. U.S. President Donald Trump celebrated his birthday with a UFC fight on the White House lawn.
We covered that before, and
Yes.
it's finally happened. As advertised, President Donald Trump celebrated his 80th birthday. That was Sunday local time with a cage fight on the White House South Lawn. The event featured 7 MMA mixed martial arts fights, especially in a specially built arena in front of about 4,000 spectators.
Yes.
And this event was named UFC Freedom 250 because it also kind of falls in line to the 250th anniversary of the U.S. independence.
Right.
There were legal challenges or attempted legal challenges, arguing with opponents saying that President Trump had exceeded his authority by allowing his longtime friend and UFC president Dana White to use the White House grounds to promote a private event. However, the judge rejected the bid, especially because, according to President Trump, the UFC is covering the cost for the entire event, estimated to be around $60 million.
Oh.
And the UFC said it's not making a profit.
I see. Well, that's all I can say. Let's move on and end with some World Cup stories. FIFA is under controversy for its English-only rules. So what is this about? English only?
So there have been multiple press conference events where Spanish-speaking athletes and Spanish-speaking reporters were not allowed to speak in Spanish.
Oh.
Right, and only answer and answer questions in English, even if it used a translator. So for reason, because at official FIFA press conferences,
Yes.
translation services are only offered in English or the language of the nations that are playing.
I see.
So video went viral when a FIFA official stopped a Mexican journalist from asking Morocco's Ashraf Hakimi, who was born in Spain and speaks Spanish, a question in Spanish.
Okay.
Also, this happened to Vinny Jr. of Brazil, who actually asked a reporter from a Spanish outlet to ask the question in Spanish because he is fluent in Spanish. He was stopped in doing so and had to turn on his earphones for translation services.
I guess those are the rules, but given that one of the co-host nations is Mexico, Spanish speaking, not so practical.
Right. So Spanish is also the second most commonly spoken language in the United States as well, following English with 44 million speakers. So logistically, though, these are kind of a logistics issue for FIFA. It's not realistic for FIFA to, of course, provide a translator for every language.
Sure.
But if you allow questions in any language but don't provide a good translator, then it becomes a problem of access. Because what if there are Korean reporters sitting in the group and they're having no idea what's going on in the Spanish interaction? So yes, it's understandable that the universal language rule be imposed, that being English. But then, as again, one of the co-hosts is Mexico.
Yes.
Why should Mexican journalists be required to learn English to cover a World Cup that their country is also hosting? Seems to be the question. In any case, though, after this controversy, FIFA did say that it is expanding its World Cup press conference translation, but only for Spanish.
Okay, well, for our final story, we covered the love for Team Korea expressed by Mexican fans, but one person has incited backlash after a racist gesture that really went to bite him back.
Right. In this day and age of social media, the internet knows everything. Why would you do this? But a Mexican football fan who made a racist gesture towards a Korean YouTuber, or in the backdrop of a Korean YouTuber's film during the Korea-Czech match, he's been identified, apologized, and left his position. So the Korean YouTuber from last Friday, she posted this video titled POV When You Experience Racism at the World Cup. So she's taking a selfie, and as you can see on our YouTube page, this man looks directly into the lens, pulls both eyes back with his index finger, the very common anti-Asian gesture. Later, though, he's been identified as Ulises Fernando Miramontes, who's the president of an engineering association in Jalisco.
Yes, and so he is a fairly well-known almost semi-public figure right here.
Right, which is all the more baffling that he would do this. So the organization issued a statement distancing itself from the individual, and Bernal posted a video apologizing and added that he is resigning from his post at the organization.
Which is so unfortunate because overall, the friendship between the Korean fans and the Mexican fans, it's been so great to see.
It's been wonderful. So let's not make, this particular instance mar everything, but also let's not do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for all the Woggly stories, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Kaylee.
Have a great day.
It is time for another song. Here it is. This is 한여름밤의 꿀 by Sunny and Lena.
무더운 밤 잠은 오지 않고 이런저런 생각에 불러본 너 나올 줄 몰랐어 간지러운 바람 웃고 있는 우리 밤하늘의 별 취한 듯한 너 시원한 beer cheers 바랄 게 뭐 더 있어 한여름밤의 꿀 한여름밤의 꿀 so sweet so sweet
정말 오랜만이야 어떻게 지냈어 나 똑같지 뭐 그냥 열심히 일했어 넌 어때 그때 그 사람 계속 만나 헤어졌구나 미안 괜한 얘기 꺼내 어쨌든 반가워 시간 진짜 빠르다 벌써 여기까지 왔네 우리도 근데 어쩜 넌 하나 변함없이 여전히 예쁘네 던진 농담 반 진담반 왜 말 돌리는데 쓸 때문인 건지 아니면 부끄러운 건지 활기지는 볼 너 생각나로 피어나는 추억의 화원 색색 아련한 이야기꽃 웃음꽃 I want to tell you something 예전에 나 너 좋아했던 거 알아? And you said I know 나 좀 취했나봐 헛소리 신경 쓰지 말고 cheers 건배 오늘처럼
무더운 밤 잠은 오지 않고 이런저런 생각에 불러본 너 나올 줄 몰랐어 간지러운 바람 웃고 있는 우리 밤하늘의 별 취한 듯한 너 시원한 beer cheers 바랄 게 뭐 더 있어 한여름밤의 꿀 한여름밤의 꿀 so sweet so sweet
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for our final segment for this Tuesday morning, and it is a trend whisperer. However, Han is away, so we have someone brand new in the studio with us right now. So let's meet him. This is Ade. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. I love the morning.
Oh, you do really?
It's favorite time of the day.
Well, can we get like a brief intro for our listeners and viewers out there who want to get to know you?
No problem. So my name is Ade. Koreans call me like Sumokade. It helps them better understand and remember.
Okay.
Living in Korea for 13 years.
13 years.
Yes.
That's quite a while. And you're from?
Canada.
Canada. Okay. So World Cup. Canada, USA.
Yes, yes.
Mexico, of course, as well. But
right.
yes.
So living in Busan 13 years.
Yes.
All Busan.
Oh, all Busan.
All Busan.
You're a Busanite.
I am.
All right. We're going to jump into the trend
Let's do it.
whisper. So what do you have for us today?
So today we're talking about a trend that I think we always kind of do it automatically.
Okay.
And it's called snack packing.
Snack packing.
Snack packing. So
What is snack packing?
Snack packing, by the way, I'm more of a bigger eater than, than a snacker.
But what is snack packing?
So snack packing is something when you travel.
Yes.
And people tend to do, instead of going to fancy restaurants or 5-star hotels.
Sure.
They tend to seek out the local snacks that people eat there.
Okay.
Yes, and they tend to go to the street markets. And in Korea, maybe they might go to the 편의점.
The convenience stores.
Yes.
Yes. So I get it. I can see why this is a thing. But in terms of this snack packing, have people always kind of not done this? Or why is it trending right now?
You know what? That's very interesting. I think this is becoming a trend because it's much more attainable. When you travel somewhere, I think it's very hard to get that 5-star reservation at a hotel or whatnot. But when you're just looking for the local snacks, I think it's far more easier to go to the local market. And also, it's going extremely viral online.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So, have you done it, like planned an entire trip around food?
Like I said, I'm a big eater.
Not a snacker.
Not a snacker.
Okay.
But definitely. So I made a couple trips to Vietnam.
Ooh.
And when I did, I absolutely had to find the best coconut crisp. Do you know those coconut thin ones?
Yeah, the thin
They're
ones.
so crispy.
So good. They're addictive.
They're highly addictive.
Yes.
Hence why I'd always try to find them when I'm traveling.
Sure.
And also the local markets in Vietnam. And I also try to find the best fruit as well.
Always the best when you really go, when you travel to try the local delicacies and what's in season at the time for that country. It is different, of course, right?
Absolutely. And I always try to go to the airport and buy a whole bunch too and sneak it, put it into my bag because they allow you the extra weight there.
Well, in terms of like the tasting of whether it's like the big food, the real meals versus the snacks, it's almost like you're tasting the culture is how I like to see it, right?
I think you're tasting the culture because of how you have to get it. You have to get it as a local would get it.
True. That's true.
So when I got the coconut crisps, I went into the local mart, like a big mart as you would go in Korea.
Yes.
And not into like a touristy place. But you could also go to those places as well.
Yes.
And see how they're actually preparing the food as well.
Yeah, and when you mentioned even going to the local markets or even like street foods. Oh, so good right now, right? In terms of wherever you go, you can get a little local taste of wherever you are. And what about in terms of, you mentioned 편의점.
Yes, I did.
So let's get into that.
So the 편의점 in Korea, very, very famous place for some of these local snacks. Because we live in Korea, we kind of just look by it, take it for granted.
I fully agree because we don't really think about it because it's like always there.
It's always there. It's always accessible. But I got married last year. And I had over 30 family members come to Korea.
Sure.
And they all stayed in the same hotel.
Right.
And the 편의점 on the first floor, all of the chocolate bars were gone.
Oh.
Because my family kept on going. They kept on going there and
it was
buying.
Audie's family.
It was all
they
of my family.
bought out the convenience store?
Right. And it just goes to show how maybe what we take for granted here, but my family who came to Korea, they wiped out the everything there.
What did they think of the convenience stores?
They absolutely...
Compared to Canada, let's say.
Well, oh my goodness. So I think America might be a little bit similar.
Yeah.
The convenience stores in Korea, they're like kind of like restaurants in a way, right?
They have like full-on meal kits and stuff, right?
Everything.
Ready to go.
And you can get coffee there, and you can make drinks there as well.
You can get wine there.
You can get wine there, and you can get these food like specially packaged there. My family was absolutely ecstatic.
Yes.
And I can tell by the lack of inventory in the 편의점 as well.
Right, but speaking of convenience stores, Japan always in the news.
Right.
I mean, hot. Right? Convenience stores.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, yes. So in terms of, you mentioned that you got married. So what about in terms of traveling? Like,
Sure.
Is it okay to ask where you went on your honeymoon?
Oh, so we went to Australia and Fiji.
Oh, I love Fiji.
Fiji is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And then we did also stop by Japan first, then went to Fiji. And when we went to Japan, you were right. The convenience store,
there. Yes.
It's a tourist hotspot for snack packing.
That's so true.
It is.
Because when we look at the convenience stores here in Korea and Japan, there are similarities, but there are also differences, right? Yes. So some of the hot items in Japan, yes, I do agree. Very much trending right now. But what does this all mean for the travel industry? Like, is this changing things?
Absolutely. The reason why this is changing things is because people are kind of skipping the higher end restaurants. And so, for example, when my family did come, they did go to Nampodong and try to get some of the street food. And because it is limiting the higher end restaurants are kind of a blockade. So one of my friends who did come during my wedding, who enjoyed the finer things in life, he wanted to get a reservation but couldn't get one. So I had to pull a couple strings with my doctor friends, and he was able to get one. But not everybody has that opportunity.
True.
To go there. So what is changing is the higher end restaurants are a little bit falling off, and the local markets are absolutely picking up, especially among young people.
Absolutely. So in terms of the snack packing, I know you're a big meal eater kind of guy, but how would you kind of sum things up as we wrap up this segment?
I absolutely love this trend because it makes the food accessible to everybody.
Yes.
And when you travel somewhere, it's very nice to go to the fancy restaurants, but I feel like, especially in Busan, you're going to feel the culture in the street markets among the locals, and hopefully you can meet an ajumma or a local person who doesn't speak your language, but you can still connect through food.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and I feel like this is a great trend, especially for young people who are trying to travel and experience something new.
Right, because food, I feel like, whether it's a snack or a real meal, I mean, it connects people, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
It was great to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you, too. Go Canada, go USA.
Well, this was Ade, everybody, for The Trend Whisperer. And I am going to read a few of your messages from today. Our text topic was all about the hair. Oh, maybe we can ask Ade about the hair, too. How do you like your hair? Do you like to keep it real short like that? Or have you ever had it longer?
Very interesting. I've kept my hair this height since a child.
Oh, you've had it real short?
Short and neat.
I like. Okay. Well, looking at your messages, waivers out there, it seems that it really does depend on your age, their age. Some people prefer the short hair. Even some of our female listeners saying it's easier to manage.
I've heard that, especially in the hotter months in summer in Busan when it gets hot.
I always consider, like right around June, I have to consider, it's about that time. Do I need to go for a chop, for a bob? Or do I need to go for like shorter length, go a little shorter? And then I always think but I can always tie my hair up. Like, we have options as women, I think.
Very lucky. Very convenient, by the way.
Yes. And so we also have a message from Michael, who apparently his daughter is sick. So, yes, absolutely. I think his daughter's name is Tedin. So, Michael, I hope that your daughter, that she gets better. And right now, people are turning on their ACs a lot more now. So we call it it's not a real thing, air conditionitis. But it's a thing.
It's real.
It's real. 냉방병 in Korea.
Got me.
Right? So I hope that she feels better. And for the rest of you, the waivers out there, I hope that you are enjoying this Tuesday broadcasting of Morning Wave in Busan. And tomorrow we're going to be covering, of course, all the latest breaking news about what's happening in the Middle East and much more. So please join us again tomorrow. We're going to leave you with this song. This is a song request from Michael. So what is this? He really loves Michael Jackson, I notice. It's a thing. And this is Human Nature. And once again, to Tedin, his song. Apparently, she's really into the song right now. So to make her feel better, and because he's such a great dad, we're going to play it right now. So have a great one, everybody. Human Nature by Michael Jackson. And join us tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Looking out across the night, the city winks a sleepless eye. Yeah, always shake my window, sweet seducing sighs. Get me out into the night time, for walls won't hold me tight.
trick eyes are everywhere. See that girl, she knows I'm watching. She likes the way I stare. If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why do they do it that way? If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do it that way? I like living this way. I like loving this way. Looking out across the morning, the city's heart begins to beat. Reaching out, I touch her shoulder. I'm dreaming of the street.